A word for our listeners. Achtung Cthulhu is set in the 1930s and 40s. We will be using terms and sayings from those times, including some that could be considered offensive. It is not our intention to offend. We merely wish to offer as accurate a view of the time period as possible. Welcome to Masks of Nyarlathotep, a Nerd's Domain gaming podcast. Join us each week as our investigators uncover the corruption of the Mythos in World War II. Starring George Chimples, Phil Durham, Rob Walker, Jestin Kimmet, Shirley Niedzwiecki, and Scott Troiano, with Matt Quiett running the table as the keeper. Eldritch evils and crazed Nazi cultists await you just beyond this music.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Nerd's Domain Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. I'm Matt, and I'm here with Shirley.
Hello.
George.
Hi.
Justin.
Hello.
Rob.
Having a good time.
And Philip.
Hello.
And so we are in London. We have arrived in London. We're actually headed to Kent. I don't know where Kent is at in relation to London, but we will get lots of email from all of our British listeners. And again, we don't know where.
I thought we were
going.
Kent.
We're going to
Jolly
Kent.
old London.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, we go to Kent. We're in Kent now.
All right.
And
so
now we're in London.
And
now we're back to Kent.
I'm in
And
Kent.
we found a Stargate.
It's England. It's all the same place.
Sorry. That was awesome.
yeah, it's all like right next to each other.
Wait, what year is this?
I know where Kent's
1930 something?
at.
Nine.
Like 1912.
1830?
I don't know.
1930
Okay,
something?
maybe.
God,
Nine.
bless
The
America.
old West.
All right,
That's
so
nice.
Kent is going to be
The old British West.
southeast of London. This is Section M that you are being brought to. When you arrive, it is very much the building itself looks very much like a large office building for the 1930s. Not overly impressive, pretty nondescript. Lots of gentlemen in suits and ties, and you have changed to be wearing something appropriate for the time frame.
What color brick?
It's like a red, like with that light gray kind of shale in it. That you see places like England. Why are you asking these questions?
What? Like, what is this pertinent to?
The emergence. Thank you.
It's pertinent to driving Matt crazy
The immersion.
and driving Matt crazy. Just let's call a spade a spade. So you guys arrive. You are led into kind of an area with a lot of cubicles or desks. They're not even cubicles. There's desks. The four of you, not cuticles, cubicles. And there are not cubicles. There are desks. Four of you are shown to desks. Albrecht, you are not given a desk yet.
You have to get promoted.
You have to be brought in officially to Section M, I guess. Professor Weld is there, as well as your the agent that was above you in Washington before you left, whose name is escaped.
Patterson.
It was Patterson. No, it wasn't. I have no idea what it was.
It was Patterson.
Was it? Okay. I didn't take notes. Actually, I took notes not on the show.
Dude, it was totally
anymore.
Patterson. I got it on my notes.
Wow. You guys are good note takers, except Jesse,
Yeah.
who left his notes at home.
Agent Patterson, FBI contact.
So Agent Patterson is also there.
He also
The five of you are brought into kind of a conference room. Weld sits down. He seems a little uncomfortable.
Probably because I'm staring at him.
Yeah, probably. It's like staring into your own eyes, isn't it?
I feel a strange connection to
A
this
strange
individual.
connection.
Whoa.
Agent Patterson sits down, and then another gentleman sits down as well. So you guys all sit down. Take a seat. Agent Patterson introduces you guys to Weld. I don't know if you have met him or not. I don't remember if we did that.
We
But
have
if not,
Is
you
Miss McCree there?
no, not
Oh,
in the
okay.
not in the room you're in right now.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
He introduces the gentleman at the table as the Right Honorable Alexander Ward Grey, Viscount of Taunton.
I
Sorry,
roll my eyes.
Taunton?
Taunton.
Like Town?
Toten. Maybe it's Toten. Toten. Yeah, we're going to go with Toten.
Tutankhamun, got it.
He is one of the leaders of section of this new opening office of Section M, or this new organization, Section M. Was previously under Section D, which is part of the intelligence within the United Kingdom, but Section M is going to be handling more Mythos related things.
You mean Mythos.
Wait, so we're
I introduced myself
Okay, thank you.
properly.
The
So the Octobus.
the Viscount shakes your hand. Nice to meet you.
I will introduce myself
Yeah,
as
he
well,
greets
yeah.
each of you individually. He says, "The four of you, if you accept the offer, are being released from the FBI officially to join us here. It would be under volunteer basis only. It's your option to do that. Your citizenship or previous citizenships," and he kind of looks over at Carlos and Brian, would be kind of disregarded at this point. It's not important. Section M is going to be working on bigger problems than just what nationality you have or had. So our plan is to begin working against whatever the Black Sun is doing within the Reich.
do we get knighthoods?
No. Knighthoods can only be given to British citizens.
And I don't want to wear a helm anyway.
The Viscount is staring at you and blinking very hard.
Tut tut, let's have some tea. Is that it, Evelyn? That was in character.
Shall we?
Patterson shakes his head and says, "They're all yours, Viscount." Well, kind of stands up and paces a little. There's a bit of a limp to his leg. It's as though his ankle was broken at some point, never really truly healed. He begins speaking about some of his experiences. It's a brief overview of kind of what we went through in Season 1. He doesn't go too deeply into detail. He may skip over a few things.
Does he mention Wilkerson?
Yes, I was actually getting ready to say that. He does mention that he had been in a group with Wilkerson, Reginald Wilkerson, the captain, he calls him.
We've met him, you know.
Yes, I heard that you made his acquaintance in England.
We shot his wife to death.
Might have killed his wife.
Did you hear it from Evelyn?
What, I'm sorry, you shot his wife to death?
They might have killed his
multiple
wife.
times.
We hope so.
The Egyptian woman.
We hope so.
Yes.
He laughs in a very uncomfortable way, and it's uncomfortable for him, and it becomes uncomfortable for you. Kind of.
I will laugh uncomfortably along with him.
It goes far too long, and then he kind of stops and says, "She's unlikely that she's dead.
That's what worried me.
She wasn't dead 1,500 years ago. She came back from that, so I'm sure that she can come back from this as well."
Carlos grimaces.
Her name is actually Nidkris.
We didn't just shoot her. We burned her, too.
Perhaps. I'll think on that. But she is a great deal of danger. I'm sure that you're aware of that now, if she's still around. So our plan is to have you and other agents like you, the four of you, Albrecht, we would extend that offer to you as well. Without your home, you would be offered British citizenship.
That would mean I'd be available for knighthood?
Yes, you would.
Well, as long as one of
Well,
us
you
is.
can wear the Sidley hat if you want to.
Does she know about... Well, that's not important
The
right now.
Viscount very loudly clears his throat. So our intent here is to gather information. I want to hear more about this dreamland.
I will explain this dreamland.
Okay. And then we can discuss what your suggestions are. So if someone would actually describe to me, and I know it's been a while, guys, just do your best. What exactly what happened in the dreamland?
we started going down this long staircase that just kind of like kept going forever. And then there was this...
But how did you get there?
We drank something?
I
Yes.
think, yeah.
And went to sleep.
Wasn't it a pill that someone chewed?
Did we have a pill?
That was you drank water in a pill.
Okay.
That was a good call. Thanks, Bill.
It was sandy, as I recall.
The pill?
Yeah.
Very
the land-
desert-like.
The
Oh, no.
place we were.
Teleonriod, yep.
Dry.
And so you descended some stairs?
Yes.
They were constructing something, weren't they?
A castle, I believe?
If you remember correctly, it's a like replica of, I believe it's Wexler Castle. No, it was a W name, and it's a terrible name that I can't pronounce.
They are rebuilding the W-named castle.
Waffled.
Okay. What else did you see there?
The Black Sun.
I'm sorry, the what?
The Black Sun.
A sun that is black.
Did it speak to you?
Yes?
Did it speak to us?
No.
Maybe?
Do you have any idea what it was?
No.
I didn't like looking at it.
Okay. And did they explain anything about what was going on? Where you were, what their plans were?
Arming themselves for battle, I believe. Something preparations.
Okay.
Before we went into the dream world, they shot that guy and brought him back to life, right?
Yes, they revived a corpse and turned it into a...
We've heard of these. There was another incident where something similar happened, although it was much less calm. We'll have briefings available for you on that. That is something part of the intent of Section M is to share around information, and no matter how unlikely or far-fetched it may seem, dealing with whatever it is that we're getting reports on. There are other reports about technologies, alien technologies from the past that are far beyond our current abilities.
wolf people.
The Greys.
Wolf people. Crystals that can power machines.
Baghdad battery.
So,
That was serious. It's my character.
you said something about a dead battery?
Baghdad batteries.
What's a Baghdad battery?
It's a battery from Baghdad.
It's a little jar. On the inside of the jar, they put like citric acid and other acids or bases, and they would cause a reaction that would cause electricity to form.
This is an actual artifact.
It was an actual artifact.
Oh.
It's a real thing.
Sorry, I'm not up on my weird science from the past.
Watch a lot of Ancient Aliens. A lot of Ancient Aliens.
So,
It's a bad good show.
is this something you all are interested in assisting?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. I look at everybody else and see how they answer.
They all seem...
I answer just about as quickly as he does.
Yeah. But
Evelyn-
the rest of you?
Evelyn doesn't seem to answer
like
at all.
it. No.
I just nod. I really haven't said anything.
Well, I
for this.
nodded.
Okay.
I nodded.
Now...
Because he seems to be scoffing at me, so...
Oh, no, this is Weld talking.
Oh. Then I'm very interested in what he's saying.
Well, you've been in Weld's class before at some point. So
I do make a snide comment about having to find the right size armor for Evelyn.
what were you saying, Phil?
I'm sure there's some out there.
Will you let Phil talk?
After
He made a snide comment. Shall I not retort?
this kind of makes sense because my character could kind of wait for the hijinks of my companions
No cherry
to
tarts.
subside.
Go
while
ahead, Brian.
Also pausing to give this thought before, yes, affirming that he is going to be joining this effort.
Now, if we do this, your positions within the FBI would be severed. That doesn't mean that they wouldn't be available in the future if after the conflicts have stopped and the order of the Black Sun is gone, that you couldn't go back to that. But if you have any other ties, and he kind of looks directly at you, Ryan, he says, if you have any other ties, it's something that we need to know about.
I want the rights to the research.
Carlos looks at you very strangely when you say that.
The rights to the papers, the rights to the publications. They don't have to go external, but...
Then why do you need rights to the research?
Just want my rights to the research.
For what?
It's personal.
But then discuss it so we can understand why.
It's my life's study. It's my life's work.
Rights to the research suggest that you're going to publish.
Since it doesn't have to be externally published, but it needs to be documented and clearly cataloged, and that's something that I need to do.
Rights to the... so, because I'm not a scientist at all, as far as rights to the research, does that mean that they wouldn't be able... What does that mean?
That means they won't be able to publish without me overviewing and overseeing anything. I'm going to have final say on all publications or works that are coming through. As the foremost expert on the topic.
Okay. That would... So, by saying I have rights to the research, you're already suggesting you are the foremost expert.
Or I will become in the process, right?
Okay.
And since I may not have the practical right this second because I've been to the Dreamlands once. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to acquire and gain.
That's fine. I just wanted to make sure I understood.
From an academic perspective, my goal would be to make sure that the data and the information being presented is clear and concise. And
the information that we seek is not in any way, shape, or form for publishment. It is to protect the world. So rights to publishing don't, or rights to that research doesn't really. It's not even something to consider.
It's something that that's what I do. That's why I'm here. That's why I've always been here.
I'm sure we can work out something.
So I would look at Weld and say, I certainly had my loyalty to the U.S. Army in my time there, but that time would seem to be at an end as well for the time being.
I, for some time, traveled with a French gentleman who was a part of the Jesuits. Are you familiar with them? You would be.
Yes.
And his focus was not nearly as broken as it could be, but from time to time, that connection caused complication. I want to make sure that your ties to anything of a similar way would not cause that sort of complication. We are here to serve and gather information.
Serve
the greater good.
So you're being either intentionally vague in order to trap me into statements in which I cannot properly respond, or you're so clouded in your thoughts that you can't ask a proper question. I am not a Jesuit. If that is your question.
My concerns are your ties to the church. We are an intelligence organization. We know we are aware of something that's going on there. I don't understand it, and I didn't want to speak out in front of your comrades about your secrets. Sure. It's not just your faith, though. Where did you grow up, Brian?
I grew up in Ireland.
Who raised you?
The church.
Did you gain any teachings from them beyond what a normal elementary child would?
A normal elementary child in the church? I mean, define a normal elementary child.
Mm-hmm. I guess it does change from country to country, doesn't it?
Yes.
But your loyalty would be here, first and foremost.
No, my loyalty would be to the greater good, as you've established it with what it is.
And if we asked you not to destroy something so that we could understand it, would you do that?
I guess that would be a question of whether or not I felt it was to the greater good.
Yay, dogma.
Interesting. Okay. Would you at least consider it and not act out of immediate emotion?
Yes, I don't act strictly out of any emotion. The greater...
There are times, and this is not a judgment on you, there are times where you will be interacting with things of the mythos that will cause an emotional reaction.
Oh, yes, I don't deny that I have emotional reactions. So I don't proclaim that I will never have a purely emotional response and act upon that. I cannot make promise. I will not make promises that I cannot keep. But I am a logical and would seek to take a logical approach to all of my choices.
Excellent. Then I think that we can move from there.
Very good.
Any other questions from you, gentleman, lady?
No, thank you.
Well, there's just one lady here. I didn't want to leave her out.
There
Well,
was
just the way you really quickly put those words together made it sound like one thing.
Yeah.
There was talk of an incident that led to the creation of this organization.
There was another incident this past month. A canister was left in a populated area in France. And when that canister was touched, it created a creature. We had people in the area that had to handle that and take care of it.
Describe the creature, please.
The Viscount speaks up and he takes a very, it's an obvious, he says, it swallows very hard. It was an amalgamation of several people that were around the canister when it was opened. Imagine pushing several people together, and then anyone that it struck and killed was pulled into that mass.
How was it destroyed?
A grenade was thrown onto it.
Did it act hostile?
Very hostile. Mindlessly hostile.
And the corpse?
Corpses were in pieces. We brought back some of it to study. Some of it was irretrievable.
And has anyone touched it yet?
We have a couple of scientists that are looking at it. No one has touched it yet. We have concerns about live flesh touching it.
No animal testing?
Not yet. This has been less than a month ago.
Does it sound like anything? Does it sound familiar to my character at all?
No. This is
New?
This is brand new.
Could an occult roll?
Nope.
Or
No, I mean literally this is something that someone just developed. So that was the incident. Also, I believe, Carlos, that we will have a very interesting assignment next for you and anyone else that chooses to go with you.
Interesting how? Or should we discuss this later?
We can discuss it at length later, but the gentleman that you shot down, who had the head of the wolf on his plane and then came back,
Yes.
why we believe that we understand where he is and could put you in the right path to find him.
Yes, let's do that.
So that would most likely be your next assignment. We're finalizing our plans for that.
I'm in.
Is there any other questions or concerns, thoughts? Anything you need brought from America?
How long are we going to be here?
Till whenever this is over.
No, I mean, how long are we going to be at this particular location?
You will have homes here available to you.
I would like to have access to my family's funds.
Oh, that's not a problem. We would. Yeah, that shouldn't be an issue.
Access to the labs.
You won't have free reign of the place. We want to make sure that everything is
No.
compartmentalized enough that we know what's going on. But yeah, that wouldn't be an issue.
I would like to speak with Miss McCree and, if possible, spend some time with her.
I don't see a problem with that either. That shouldn't be an issue. She'll be here for the long run as well as Mr. Weld. Professor Weld. Albrecht, any thoughts?
I'm in.
Do you have weapons?
Only the best that that the British Empire can make.
Broadswords, staves, common affair.
But all of the traditional type?
Stakes, crosses.
Are you looking for a sword? I mean, the Viscount seems sincere. You said traditional. Or are you looking for a good rifle?
No, I know that clearly this group is someone who is familiar with the occult and these odd things. That's why we've been put together. So I did not know if you had any specialized weapons for fighting.
I see.
That group beyond your traditional rifles.
We have collected a couple of small artifacts, but they are mostly for research and understanding them. As far as perhaps like holy weapons or items that could be used like that, we could, I'm sure, make the right moves to get something from the church, but we hadn't considered that particular route.
You guys said something about werewolves earlier. I think Carlos said. Can I get some silver bullets?
I'm sure that could be arranged. They would need to be used sparingly. Silver is not exactly free.
Did we find that had an effect?
I don't remember if you guys shot. You didn't know there was a werewolf coming, so there really wasn't a. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't.
Do we know that has an effect?
I mean,
I mean, there is a difference between mythology and
fairly and I'm fairly versed in both, so I would still assume that it was effective.
Roll your occult.
It's fitty.
Weld is shaking his head yes very rapidly.
Yeah, I got an 04 on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even if it's not effective, it'll still be a bullet.
Weld speaks up. I've seen one myself, and it's magic seems to be to have a much higher impact, but silver bullets do tend to hurt it as well.
Okay.
All right. Well, gentlemen, lady, welcome to Section M. I hate you, Rob. Every time I hate you.
It's not the choo-choo tribe.
I had to edit out like 5 minutes of Shirley laughing out of that one episode. So terrible.
But there's only one O, so it's the Cho-Cho.
No, it's choo-choo.
Well, yes, after it became canon.
It is canon. Done.
You got any rare tomes? I mean, tombs.
All right. You guys get set up. That's probably about it for this episode. I know it's a little short one, but Section M. You guys are all now members of Section M.
Nice.
Carlos, you looking forward to getting your werewolf?
Yes.
Your werewolf?
Your werewolf on?
Whose name I don't remember either.
I need a silver-plated Supermarine Spitfire.
A what? What is even
That'd be
that?
really heavy, wouldn't it?
What is
You
that?
can just paint it along the edges, the leading edges.
Oh, yes, it's there. Yeah.
It's on the propeller a little bit.
Maybe on the wings so you can
Oh.
clip
Yeah,
them.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm like, what is it?
A Spitfire?
Yeah.
It's a plane.
It's a what?
It's an aeroplane.
It's a thing that
Sound
spits
like you
fire.
said flame.
I need a ticket for an aeroplane.
It's the most storied British aircraft ever.
Yep.
All right, I'll look it up and read about the Spitfire.
Well, I think that's going to do this week.
masks?
Yeah. So we will talk to you guys next week.
On the Nerds Domain presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. Remember, you can email us at nerdsdomain@gmail.com or find us on facebook.com/nerdsdomain, on Twitter @nerdsdomain, or over at our site nerdsdom.com. Be sure to sign up for the newsletter while you're there. You can head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. We want to thank Josh Shop for our music. Don't forget, you can support us at patreon.com/nerdsdomain. And check out our shirts at slashloot.com.